Welcome back to the Lemno Podcast. I'm your host, Teek. We have some exciting news for next episode. I will have a host, so we're going to butt heads a little bit on our different viewpoints. But on this episode, we're talking about the tight end position for the 23 NFL season. On tiermaker.com, let's get right into it. All right, we're here on tiermaker.com. Again, for the tight end position, just looking at these pictures right now, I can already tell that we don't have all the starters on here. We got some backups in as well. So I'm probably going to do like the top 20 tight ends and just go from there. Because most of these guys are going to be free agents as well in most of your guys' drafts. So let's get underway. We're going to start with the S tier, work our way down all the way to the D, and we'll kick it off like that. So we all know this guy, S tier. It's him and then everybody else in the tight end position. Until he proves me wrong, Travis Kelce, there's no one else that's going to take this guy's crown. Has one of the best QBs in the league as well thrown to him, so that's a kind of hard case to not knock him off number one as well. Had 110 targets, 1,300 yards, and 12 TDs. He's going to be my number one. A close sec. I wouldn't call it a close second, but number two this year coming up, I got Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson stays healthy. Mark Andrews finished fifth last year among tight ends. Had 847 through the air with 5 TDs as well. Lamar Jackson stays healthy. You might see him take Travis Kelce's crown. Who knows, right? But I got one more guy in the S tier. Might surprise you, might not, just because the moves that this team made and stuff like that. I think TJ Hawkinson is going to wrap up my S tier. So TJ Hawkinson last year finished fourth among tight ends, 914 yards and 6 TDs. Thielen's gone now. Dalvin Cook's gone now. Those targets have to go somewhere. Yes, they drafted a receiver, but those targets are just got to go somewhere. With him finishing fourth, the familiarity with him and Kirk Cousins, I think his numbers go up a little bit. So I think he's going to stay in the top 3-4 of tight ends as well. So that's going to wrap up my S tier. This A tier is going to be a little tricky. The first guy I have on A tier, yes, he got hurt last season. I don't like his QB as well for fantasy-wise. I think it's going to be a hit or miss. We'll see, but the potential's there. I think Darren Waller, A tier, is going to start that off. He obviously got hurt, didn't finish too well in the standings, but with Saquon might not play, he might sit out, he might not sign that tenure. The receiving core there is not very good whatsoever, so those targets have to go somewhere. I think Darren Waller is going to be a big piece for them, especially if Saquon doesn't sign and play on the tag. I really do. Move along from that. A tier, man. I got George Kittle. George Kittle last year finished second among tight ends. 11 touchdowns, 765 yards receiving. Kittle's been one of those steady tight ends as well. That's always seems to be in the top 5. So he's like your most reliable guy who's always sitting there, which is nice because you don't have to worry about having those roller coaster weeks, which is huge. This next guy was in a high-powered offense. Hopefully he's going to see some more red zone targets and more targets overall. I got Dallas Goedert in A as well. Goddard did finish 10th among tight ends last year. He had 3 TDs with 700 yards receiving. Like I said, I hope they boost those numbers up in the red zone and take some heat off of Jalen Hurts in running the ball as well, which I would love to see. And then to finish and round off the A tier, the potential again. This guy last year got hurt. First year in the league had 1,000 yards receiving. This offense for Kyle Pitts is a bunch of young, talented core. So you got him, Drake London, Bijan, Tyler Algier. It's all up to Desmond Ritter to get these guys the ball, especially Kyle Pitts. Because when he came out and they drafted him so high, they're calling this guy a unicorn. He busted out on the scene first year over 1,000. We'll see what he can do. Hopefully he stays healthy for the season moving forward as well. So I have him actually in between A and S, depending on his health, really. I think it's going to be interesting to watch that throughout the season, too. And I believe, yeah, it looks like that probably wraps up my A tier. Just looking at this list down here. Starting the B tier, I actually have Pat Freiermuth starting out the B tier. Okay. This is going to be a make it, break it season for Kyle Pitts to see if he can take that next step up, see if he can be one of those franchise QBs to come. Pat Freiermuth finished 12th among tight ends last season. 2 TDs only, 732 yards through the air. I think those numbers go up. I think these guys are just going to start to click. They should click this year if everything goes well. They reassured the offensive line, gives Pickett some more time behind there. So we'll see what that does. Excuse me. For Pat Freiermuth. Next on the B tier. I have Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram finished 6th among tight ends last year. 4 TDs, 766 yards through the air. Do I think his numbers go down? Maybe. Calvin Ridley is there now, so he's going to take targets away. This offense was clicking late in the season. They were on fire there for a while. But he was a big part and maybe was a league winner for some of y'all in 2022. But we'll see how he fares in 23. I hope he still gets his targets he deserves out there. But moving on from him, we got David Njoku. I'll put at B tier. Again, all depends on his QB. Deshaun Watson's shaking off the rust. So out of OTAs, that's all I'm hearing is he's looking good. He's looking good. His balls are where he needs to put them. They're raving about him. This offense just reloaded again. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb, Njoku. These guys should be popping on all cylinders this year from what I'm hearing then with David Njoku. Finished 13th among tight ends last season. 4 TDs, 628 yards through the air. So you do have Njoku sitting in the B tier as well, I believe, for this season. This guy doesn't look like he has a picture either. If you're wondering why I'm looking for pictures, we are on YouTube. You can watch this on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts as well. They have his old picture in here. That's why it looks like. I have Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz recently moved to Houston here. But while he was in Dallas, he ended up being the number 11 tight end. 5 TDs, 577 yards through the air. I think he's going to get a lot more targets, to be honest, in Houston. Not saying Houston has better weapons around him. They just don't have the talent of weapons. So that's why I think you're going to see Dalton Schultz get more targets, especially with a rookie QB as well. So the rookie QBs love the tight ends, the dump downs. So I think he's going to be maybe a sneaky league winner, to be honest. I really do. But after Schultz, this guy's, man. I don't know where to put this guy. This offense was in shambles last year. QB went down, receivers went down. It just felt like he was the only guy on the field, to be fair. I got Tyler Higbee. I'm going to put him B. I really do. He finished 15th among tight ends. I mean, that's not bad considering what he dealt with through the season with that offense. 3 TDs, 620 through the air. I'm going to keep him at the B tier for now. Excuse me. I think he has a lot of upside, especially if people come back healthy and they have someone to actually throw the ball to him. This next guy, man, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one. I really am. But I just don't think he's on the same caliber as these guys. I'm gonna put Cole Kmet C. I'm putting him C for yes, he finished seventh last year among tight ends. Okay, 7 TDs, 500 yards through the air. So those 7 TDs is probably the reason why he finished so high. That's what I'm getting out of it. Um, until Fields proves to me that he is a legit passer, I can't put Cole Kmet up any higher than a C for me. Um, I need to see Justin Fields sling the rock, stay in the pocket, and not rush for 1,000 yards. Yeah, he's making plays. That's great and everything, but for this position, for the tight end position, I need to see him sling the rock. That's a big thing for me. Because you're going to get those roller coaster weeks then, right? With these 7 TDs, you're going to get 15 out of them one week. You're going to get 5 the next two. Then he's going to have a 10, and then maybe he'll blow up for 20. I just like consistency with my players and know what I'm getting out of my players. And Cole Kmet's one of those guys, I never know what I'm going to get out of him. So that's why I have him in C. This next guy is going to surprise me. I don't want to put him too high up on the list. He doesn't look like he has a picture here, so I'm going to use this one. It's Greg Dulcich. Sean Payton's there now, loves the tight end position. I think he's going to get Russell Wilson right. We'll see. Maybe Russell Wilson's on the end of his career. Who knows? Maybe he turns it around. But I'm going to keep him at C for now. I think that's fair for him just because he didn't finish too high last year either. But coming out of OTAs, I'm hearing a lot of good news out of this guy. So don't be surprised he bumps up to B during the season. I really wouldn't be shocked whatsoever, to be honest. Next on this list, let's see here. Gerald Everett. Did the Chargers. Go Chargers, go. Gerald Everett finished 14th last season. 4 TDs, 500 yards through the air. Keenan Allen's getting up there in age. He's still producing. I think those targets are going to dwindle because I feel like he's going to have some issues separating from coverage. We'll see. Gerald Everett, I believe, is going to step up some of those targets. Yes, they drafted another receiver, but it feels like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are always hurt as well. So Gerald Everett's always that guy that's always there. So a C is a good place for Gerald Everett. I think I'm solid keeping him there. This next guy, again, finished top 10, finished 8th among tight ends last year, Juwan Johnson. I'm keeping him C. But you're going to be like, well, Derek Carr's there now. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to have that connection like him and Darren Waller had. I really don't. I'm not saying that because I'm a Saints hater. I'm really not. He did have 7 TDs, which he's a red zone target, just like Cole Kmet, and he had less yards and less catches. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's why they're in the same category until Derek Carr comes slinging the rock and shows me it's different. Then he moves up on my list. So that's why I have those two guys where they're at. Moving on past Juwan Johnson. I'm not even try to pronounce this guy's name. I'm gonna butcher it. I really am. So I'm just gonna call him Chico. Out of Tennessee. Chico finished 21st among tight ends last season. I have him. I'm gonna put him in D tier, just because, for multiple reasons. Tennessee's offense is Derrick Henry. It's Derrick Henry or bust over there. So I feel like they needed to move on from Tannehill a while ago. Yes, they have Malik Willis. Yes, they just drafted Will Levis. It's not looking good out of any of those three. So that's why kind of Tannehill's still like, I'm starting, but I know my time's coming to an end. If Tannehill picks it up, be a different story, I think, for him and fantasy owners as well. But that's why I have Chico there. And then let's see here. Next on the list, does he have? I don't think this is him, but I'm going to use his picture. Mike Gesicki just moved to the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick loves his tight ends. I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Mike Gesicki. Gesicki, excuse me. Hunter Henry's there, yeah. Finished 22nd among tight ends, Hunter Henry. But Hunter Henry, maybe age, who knows? Hunter Henry's been in the league for a while, right? I believe so. Mike Gesicki, I feel like, is just a better catching tight end. I feel like it gives them a new dynamic. So that's why I have Mike Gesicki over Hunter Henry as well. But I still have him in D tier just because of the QB situation there as well. I don't think Mac Jones is the answer there in New England. I really don't. I think they're going to move on from him after this season, to be fair. Let's see. I have Dawson Knox and Kincaid in the D tier. And I'm going to tell you why right off the rip. They're going to take from each other. They're going to take receptions from each other. Dawson Knox did finish 9th among tight ends last year. Had 6 TDs, 500 yards to the air. But if he's a top 10 tight end, why are you drafting another one then, right? I think Kincaid's more of a route runner than Dawson Knox. I do. But they're going to take from each other. And then you have the Stephon Diggs thing as well. He wants involved more in the offense, even though personally I think he's involved a lot. So that's going to take away from both these guys as well, and they're going to take away from each other. So it's almost like a lose-lose situation for fantasy in this case for these two. So that's why I have them in the D tier to start. And then I feel like I'm going to wrap this up with, let's see here. I'll get a couple more. Zach Ertz. That offense is a mess in Arizona. Kyler Murray, we don't know when he's going to come back during the season. Hopkins is gone. That whole franchise is a mess right now. I have him in D for that main reason. Who knows what's going on over there? No one does, to be fair. Moving along, let's see who we got here. Hayden Hurst, I'm going to put in D as well. New QB, new offense, new receivers, new running back, new coach. Everything's new playbook. They're going to struggle, I believe, in the beginning of the season. And I'm hoping they do game 1 since it's against the Falcons. Just on that note. But if I have any of those guys in my fantasy, hopefully they pick it up down the road, you know. But that first one against my Falcons, we need that win, you know. And then to wrap it all up here, I'm going to put Logan Thomas and Tyler Conklin in D as well. So Tyler Conklin's interesting. You're like, well, Aaron Rodgers is there. Well, Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay and didn't really use Tunyon that much, right? So Tunyon was there, right? He was the hot commodity when he burst onto the scene a couple years ago, right? I think Tyler Conklin's going to be the same thing. I really do. I think Garrett Wilson, they got the running backs. I think the tight end position doesn't really work with Aaron Rodgers, to be fair, just his style of play. Nothing against like either of these players. I just think Tyler Conklin finished last year 17th, right? Those numbers obviously can go up with Aaron Rodgers. We all know that. But like I said before, Robert Tonyan finished 23rd last year. So he finished worse with Aaron Rodgers. So that's kind of where I'm standing there. His numbers can go up, yeah, but will they? I don't think so. So I think D is where it looks like to be for Tyler Conklin. I really do. But that will probably wrap up my tier list. We don't need to talk about Cade Otton or whatever his name is. Cade D tier. That offense is going to be, I don't even know who's the QB over there, Trask or Baker. No one knows. But that will probably end it for the tier list. Next episode, like I said, exciting news. I got a new co-host coming on. We're gonna switch it up off the tier list. Hopefully, you guys will like it. Again, we are on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Make sure the notifications are on so you see all of our updates as well. And hopefully, we'll see you on the next one.